to Swiping on Love.
Yeah.
It's
welcome.
our third episode.
Third episode, yeah.
Exactly. Here, I am your host, Sange Keita, with my other host.
Someone legit.
Today we're gonna be talking about, spirituality and the Zodiac signs, regarding just relationships and how we communicate and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think first of all, it's like when it comes to like zodiac signs, I think a lot of people are now starting to, I don't know, has it always been there? Like the wave of zodiac signs, like what's your sign?
I feel like it,
Wait, before we begin, what is your sign?
I'm a Libra, but I'm a rising Aries, and my moon sign is Aquarius, if you even know what that means.
I have no idea what that means, but all that I know is that I'm a Cancer. At first, I thought I was like a Sagittarius, for some reason, but later on I got to realize that I'm a Cancer.
I mean, that's understandable though, because a lot of people feel like, depending on like the day you were born, then that's like the specific sign that you have to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to astrology and spirituality and stuff, we all kind of have certain traits that go with whichever sign necessarily. So there's no really exact, way you have to be to match your sign. So you can definitely be a Cancer and still like kind of correlate or relate to Sagittarius.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But now, like everywhere you go, if you start talking, I think it's a new way of making friends. Your friends wants to know your sign before you guys even get to hang out. Like, as soon as you introduce yourself, hey, my name is Sam, or blah blah blah, and then it goes, oh, by the way, what's your sign?
Oh, yeah.
And then when you tell them, it's like, nah, I can't with Cancers, or I can't with Sagittarius, or I can't with Libras, or all of that things.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like when it comes to astrology and zodiac signs, I mean, they always been there, but social media kind of just enhances everything regarding how we communicate and regarding how to think. And it's become like this hyper culture, like, in terms of the person's sign, then that's exactly what you're going to get. But that's not entirely true,
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's some people who really take astrology and stuff very, very heavily and they apply it, which is no problem. But it's also, sometimes it can kind of be hindering from actually getting to know a person. So I know there's some people who don't want to interact with a certain sign because they've had like a negative experience with that person based off of their sign. So they correlate, every single person who is that sign with that negative aspect
of him.
Exactly.
Yeah, every little thing that you do is like, oh, you're a Libra. Yeah, you're a Libra. Yeah,
Yeah.
Your Libra is showing.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you think about it, I don't know. I feel like maybe this might be a bit stereotypical, but I feel like women or girls in general believe it more than some guys or men.
In that aspect, yeah, I would say in terms of social media and interaction, I definitely see that coming more from like, girls and like women in general. It's very hard to see men kind of, talk about it. I have seen men who do kind of apply that, but not in a way where, us as girls would probably do so. And even with like just being a girl and being like a woman and stuff, like I noticed there's like different kinds of people like when it comes to Zodiac. Because me, I do it, but I do it for fun. But deeply, I know that people are different. Despite whatever experience I had with certain signs, but I don't make that the core, like fundamental of meeting somebody. Like I don't necessarily care, but with other people, they make sure
like hardcore, like hey, you're this and you're this, and this says that we're not compatible.
Exactly. But for some people also, it's like they don't care at first, but once I think things go bad, they start to find reasons to blame.
To blame, okay.
And they find the zodiac
The
sign
okay.
and astrology to be a reason. And that's not saying it's good or bad, but it's just something that I observe, you know.
True. True. I mean, in general, I don't know. Do you? I mean, you said that you don't really pay mind to the zodiac signs, whether you're Cancer or Capricorn or whatever, but you find the person like deep down. Sometimes the traits that says that you're a Cancer might not show in you, or
Yeah. I feel like it's a really fun way and a diverse way to figure out to kind of understand your personality. Because truthfully, I think like there are certain things that I can relate to just being being a Libra, and also understanding more past like my zodiac sign. Like I mentioned, me being a rising Aries and my moon sign being Aquarius, all of those kind of tap into like my personality and stuff like that. Are they completely true all the time? No. Before, like, I kind of started being more educated on astrology. I used to download those apps. I don't know if you ever downloaded like the astrology apps, like the ones where they just had a bunch of apps.
so it's
before.
like, is that like some apps like today it will say, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to happen.
Yeah,
and
give
blah,
you
blah,
certain
blah.
fortunes
Yeah,
and stuff.
fortunes.
I used to think, I used to believe that, but then after a while, I was just like, okay, they're giving everyone the exact same thing. So it's not that it's going to happen, but this is what you can possibly interpret that may happen. It may not be today, but it could be somewhere along the
Along
lines.
the line. Yeah. I don't know. Me personally, I'm not a firm believer in that part, that I'm not quantified, or you can just paragraph me. Is that certain?
Yes.
Paragraph me?
It's label. You're basically...
label me. Because as a human, I feel like we evolve, and some traits we can put aside and some traits we can add up, the good and the bad ones. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just reading into it too much, or maybe the astrology signs are there to just give us perspective.
It's
or guide.
supposed to be, but like I said, social media and stuff kind of just makes it so hyper to the point everybody's kind of overusing it and using it as a way to not interact with people or interact with people.
Oh, find an excuse to say, like, I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah, exactly. And then, just also, just in terms of character and stuff, like I said, we all kind of correlate. And it's not just because of the labeling in terms of signs, but also just in terms of energy and spirituality and stuff. There's a lot of things that, with astrology and zodiac signs, it helps us maneuver and identify our emotions and how we kind of express it to another person.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. I think of it to be something very educational. I don't try to overdo it by making it like a core fundamental in how I communicate, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, do you think, have you had that experience before you came to college, or do you think college has enhanced that notion, with zodiac signs, that you have to be a specific zodiac sign in order to communicate, or,
No, but I feel like in college I see it more. Back in high school, it was just, you can see it a little bit. People asking you here and there. But then I feel like when I got to college, that's when people like, hey, what's your sign? It's like now, I don't know, it's like your name, your sign. And then
that's with every interaction?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like, oh, what's your name? Like, my name, Samuel. Like, oh, what's your sign? Oh, I'm a Cancer. Like that kind of intonation that people will have.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Sometimes I do that, but I don't make it, like I said, I don't make it. I like to joke around and I like to tease people with it. I noticed some people would literally take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's just fun, I would say, to just explore with it and, tweak it and put it into certain things. But excessively, there's a limit,
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to use it as a fun fact and stuff. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, there's something, like I said, that is it's very similar, and it can be practically a bit true, but it's not all the way true because everyone has different experiences,
Yeah.
different environments that they're in, different ages.
Yeah.
It all plays into that as well.
Yeah. And I think recently I was watching a video on TikTok. And I feel like now TikTok is now becoming like a sauce. But yeah, I was watching a video on TikTok where this guy, I think the thing that he does is numerology.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'm saying that well.
Numerology.
Yeah, that. And then he will ask people their birth date and the year they were born, and then they'll tell you something that correspond or something that will happen or has happened to you.
Yes.
And I don't know.
I got a question, you know,
Yes.
considering, you know, we're both African, right?
Yeah.
You know, like when it comes to spirituality and
Yeah.
stuff, like do you
Oh.
believe those are
yeah. Oh,
right.
trust me. Oh, yeah. that I believe, but now I'm starting to question it a bit.
Really?
Yeah, but I do believe that, you know,
No, it's real.
it's
like,
real, but sometimes you
with
just
the
have to.
witches and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you have to keep an open mind
Yeah.
on that, you know, and all of that. But I don't know.
Like, I definitely get what you're saying. I see it. I feel like maybe the structure of it is a bit too, like I said, exaggerated.
Yeah,
But in terms of spirituality and personality and energy, I believe in those things.
yeah,
Numerology, though, is very intriguing to me. Like, sometimes it confuses me because you got numbers like 4433
yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think I think it's like angel numbers. I don't know if it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
angel numbers. I think that's kind of included with numerology. So it's like coincidental, but not coincidental in a way. But it's like guides and
Yeah.
ways to just, you know, observe, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
the universe
Yeah,
is
tells
like,
us.
Yeah, it tells us everything in it. Like some part says like one, if you see one is like affiliated with the sun, two is like the moon, three is like Jupiter,
Yeah.
four is like, and then you have like the angel numbers of like 11.
Yeah. 12,
Yeah,
12.
12, 12. Yeah, something like
Right.
that. And it's like when you read into it, it's like your guardian angel. Some people said like if you see 11, it means pay attention to it because it means like your guardian angel is trying to contact you, or trying to
Yes.
give you a sign.
Yes. And speaking of 1111, I truly believe in that.
Yeah?
Yeah, my dad actually made me like he kind of put that notion with me and my siblings that it's a very spiritual hour in time. So he makes us like pray or wish when it comes to that time of the day. Like
yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
Night we usually think it's more effective, but I do it 2 times
Yeah.
every day. Not every day. I try to catch it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. We might be straying away from the topic here, but have you heard of the witching hours?
Yes. Oh. That's not straying away from the topic technically, because that's also a very spiritual hour, and that is a very scary time for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like personally, I'm like a clairvoyant person, not all the way, but I feel energies.
Yeah.
So when I wake up, like I've had times where I've woken up like around 2, 3 a.m. I think that's around the time of the witching hours,
from
like
12 to 12 a.m.
Oh,
going down.
I didn't even know it was from 12 a.m. I
Yeah.
thought it was like specifically at 2 to 3.
Oh no. From 12 going down.
Like it's stated, people, like if you wake up from those times, like if you just so suddenly wake up and you don't know why, apparently there's like a specific energy or a spirit that is watching you or that is trying to tell you something.
Ooh.
That's what I've learned. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And ever since then, I try not to wake up around that time.
Just like whenever you feel like you're just like, nah.
No, don't wake up.
Don't wake up. Just sleep. Just sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. The world
Yeah.
in itself, I feel like there's more about the universe that
That we don't know.
we don't know.
And that's the scary and beautiful part about it, because we may be looking at things completely different from how it's being portrayed in the media and stuff like that. But, and also we may not even notice certain things in terms of living organisms because we haven't seen all the living beings on this earth and outside of this universe.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's kind of scary, but it's also kind of beautiful because we are definitely not the only beings clearly on this earth. You have animals, you have plants and stuff, but in terms of what we've seen already, like, we don't know how it looks. So
there's so many questions that you can ask, but it's hard to get answers from.
Yeah. I guess it's all up to us to do our own research, but also like interpretation is very important too, like what it means to you, but also in terms of what it means to other people. Like, I feel like it's good to just get a better perspective. I know some people are very limited in that aspect, and they're very stubborn, and they don't want to really look beyond that because some people are very religious in the sort, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah. When you think about it, when we're talking about religion, when you think about it, the Bible, what do you think about saving yourself for Christ, or marriage before you start doing your thing?
Like the deed?
Yes, the deed.
Well, I would say in terms of religion, I mean, I'm not Christian in the sort.
I'm Christian.
Yes, but I'm Muslim. So it's still kind of the same thing, like the same way in terms of saving yourself for marriage. I think spiritually, if I don't want to get too personal, of course, but if I grew up in an environment where it wasn't taboo to speak about certain things such as spirituality and sexuality and stuff, and I learned that in terms of like sexual partners, that there may be, I guess, an effect on your overall aura or energy.
Yeah.
I probably would have had a completely different perspective now compared to like what I actually think now personally. I mean, I would just say it just depends on like how you grew up and in the like just the environment that you're in. But overall, like for me, like that's saying it's 50-50, like just depending on the severity of how it's applied. What do you think?
Well, I think one of the things that I saw when I came here to the States was that in Ghana, they're very Christianity households, like to the core. And I've been keeping in touch with some of my friends on campuses in Ghana, and it's hard. So American culture or dating culture in college is like, sometimes I want to say easy, because people are open-minded and want to try new stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard from some of my friends in Ghana on their university campuses, it's really hard to just like find someone to,
do the deed with.
Right. Because all of them, what they'll tell you is that I'm waiting. I'm waiting to be married before. You guys could be in a relationship, but there's not going to be enough affection in that aspect.
Right.
She's trying to save herself for before marriage and then do the thing.
Right.
But in terms of that, it's different, I would say.
I definitely agree too. Like for Islamic culture and stuff, it's the same way, especially depending on, I guess, the type of Muslim you are, and also the household you grew up in. Because I know it might be different from someone who grew up in possibly the Middle Eastern. Because I'm African, so like the way it was thrown to me, it wasn't thrown to me at all. I had to do my own research. But For I would say like with friends that I have who are like non-African Muslims, they kind of have like they definitely have, I would say, the very similar notion, but it's very strict. I'm not saying that it's for every single person who's not African Muslim or even African Muslim, but from my experience and from talking with other friends who are like of the Islamic culture
Yeah.
and religion,
Yeah.
it's very, very similar, but it's also very risky too to even try to
Yeah.
break that barrier between like partners, like partners that you're trying to do the deed with, or even just thinking about it
Yeah.
is just
Just different.
completely
Yeah.
harsh. Yeah.
Yeah. As a Christian, even though I wanted to do the deed or what may, there's this chapter in the Bible called the Songs of Solomon. And that part is very seductive. It's a poem about love, you know. And one quote that really stuck with me every time I, try to read the Bible, just
Right.
happens to stumble upon that part. But it's like, let me kiss you with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. So that when you just check it out, Songs of Solomon in King James version of the Bible, it's like there's a whole chapter dedicated to that
Right.
love language, that poem, you know. But yeah, at least that's how I learned to, I learned about some of the love language.
Distinguishing that basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I also, just to reiterate for all the listeners out there, we're not here to like sway you into religion or
Oh, no,
anything.
no.
We're just here sharing our experiences and stuff.
Just chatting.
Yeah.
Have you, when you came on campus, have you met someone who's practicing another aspect of your religion in a different way? Like, I'm not sure about how personal do we want to get here?
I don't mind getting personal,
Yeah.
but I will definitely like keep it censored for like names and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm guessing your practice of religion, there's a leeway in certain things that you can do and cannot do. Have you met someone on campus here where they are totally not, there's no leeway? Do you get what I mean?
Like they're very strict upon
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like even before college too. But here on my here on college campuses and stuff, I've met a couple of
Yeah.
people who are very strict about their religion and also about their bodies and in terms of the religion. And I respect it 100%. And it may have been a bit different for them too because they grew up they didn't grow up here. They also didn't grow up in Africa as well. They grew up somewhere probably like in the eastern parts of the world. So yeah. With that, like, I mean, seeing that is very beautiful to me because it shows that a lot of people very, very much do care about their religion as well. And, there also has been a lot of notion that, people are losing touch with their religion and stuff. And it's not to say it's good or bad, but it's also just to show that there are very much a lot of people who, are spreading that awareness in terms of their religion. But also there are also like different belief systems within the religion as well, if that makes sense. So people just make it their own, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And even with people who aren't of, Islamic culture and stuff, I've seen them take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah. I think spirituality is one of the things where, like, it's in my core roots. Like, I was raised, or I am Christian and raised in a Christianity home. So most of the stuff that I do and say or anything like that is a source from my Christianity religion and the belief that I have in it. I think one of the core things that I cherish is that I think in every religion there's a fundamental rule of karma, like do unto those what you want others to do unto you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the core things that I do, and even in my relationship, it's also fundamental in that, because like the stuff that I don't want my partner to do to me, I'm not going to do it to them.
Exactly.
You know, the idea of what comes around goes around, because if it hurt me and I know the feeling of that being hurt, why would I wish that upon my partner
Right.
or upon anybody to go through what I went through or experienced?
Right,
You know?
exactly. And even like, with that hurt and whatever you're experiencing within your relationship or just relationships in general, like you can feel that energy. You can tell when someone is, clearly upset or clearly hurt about something. And it doesn't have to be communicated at all verbally. It can definitely be felt in an emotional and energy sense, and sometimes even a physical sense, because with energy and emotions, things happen to our bodies that tells us this is not okay, or this is not how we're supposed to be feeling right now, or this is not a good feeling in general.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Within everything, my spirituality is that when I have time to pray, I do pray for everybody, even my enemies. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah.
And speaking of like enemies and stuff, are there like any remedies or things that you possibly have as an individual to like protect yourself from like bad omens or like bad things that may try to like tap into your energy or may try to like kind of ruffle that
So
energy?
with that, I would say what my remedy is: be kind to anybody, be respectful to anybody, whether young or adult or anything like that. Respect is key in here. And think if somebody wrongs me or do something that I don't like, I'm a human being, so I might get frustrated or angry.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be mean to you or say talk to you in any way. You know, I'll be calm, and then I'm gonna be kind to you, no matter how hurt I am or anything like that. You know, I understand that you're a human being and nobody's perfect. So there's just nothing that will, I don't know.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like completely. For me, I definitely go by that as well. Like giving it's the same saying, like what goes around comes around. So you definitely don't want to be treated in a way that you don't want to be treated and treat other people that way. That's not how it works. You want to treat people the way you want to be treated, basically. You don't want to treat people horribly. You don't want to treat people like, like they're nothing. Like everyone is an individual within themselves.
Yeah.
And you want to be respectful when it comes to them, and you should also expect the same thing if you're being respectful as well. For me, my experience, I tend to like show that sometimes for me, some people have a very bad response to kindness for some odd reason, and sometimes it's not their fault, but sometimes, like, personally for me, I believe some people just really don't have good intentions. And it's not because of anything personal, but I guess it's just based off of overall how they communicate or interact with people, or how they grew up and think about people in general. And it could be their fault, but I mean, I don't know them personally to say so, but just experiencing that, like, I just tend to distance myself as an aspect of to just keep that energy away. But
Yeah.
I can be cordial and I can be, you know, nice to them. But if I feel like it's very detrimental to my energy and my space, then I don't have to be around that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I was about to say that I think there's something about me that my kindness is what sometimes my partner gets worried about that because we had to talk about how people might be taking advantage of my kindness and just like doing that. But what I say is that I don't really care if you take advantage of me or anything like that. But I know that what I'm doing is out of pure heart
Right.
and out of my kindness. And you trying to take advantage of someone's kindness, what does that make you?
Right. Exactly.
You know, there's so much going on in this world that I think we all need kindness
Right.
and love from each other. Right. So if someone's showing you kindness from their own heart and respect from their own heart, and you being a human being, you're not seeing that and taking advantage of that situation, what does that make you? What as time goes on, how's that going to affect you? Mm-hmm. You know, I accept every consequences that comes, whether good or bad.
Right.
Because I believe that everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to learn from what happened in order to move on to the next step.
Yes.
So everything is a lesson.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I just open my heart, keep an eye out, open my arms right there.
I completely resonate with that 100%. Like, you know, sometimes, yeah, you should definitely never let another person's energy stop you from being who you want to be. And technically, yeah, it's definitely, if you think about it, it's not even having that person taking advantage of you, especially if you're well aware that they're trying to or doing so. I feel like when you're not aware and you're just like blindly like being nice to a person and they're taking advantage of you, but you don't know, then yeah. That's taken advantage of. But you're choosing to still give that person the love and the respect because that's who you are.
Yeah.
So technically, you're being yourself and you're not being taken advantage of like a fool, like or anything like that, you know? And I definitely also believe in, like, I see karma to be not of like a good bad thing. Like people don't understand that karma comes in very like various ways.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to necessarily be a quote unquote good person to get good karma.
Yeah.
Sometimes like you have to be put in situations with someone who's the complete opposite of you to kind of challenge you or kind of test your, I guess, your emotional and personal capabilities as a human being. So like you interacting with someone who's, I guess, not a nice person and stuff, and you being nice is your karma.
Yeah.
It's not because you deserve it, but it's just in a way to test you. I see it to be more of a tester, but also a way to, you know, basically like you said, to learn and to be able to interact. Same thing for a bad person, like quote unquote a bad person or someone who did you wrong. Yeah. They may go through an experience with a good person to show, hey, there's not everybody out there is a bad person. Yeah. You know, that's their karma. It doesn't necessarily have to match or be something that is, I guess, rightfully deserving based off of what they did previously in the past. Yeah. But their rightfully deserving is to show this is what life could have been like for you if you probably chose a different route. Yeah. So let's give you someone who's the opposite of you and who shows you a better perspective on life, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. I feel like when we come back on campus, it's like there's a lot of relationship between friends that has been ruined because of that. Because some people feel like people are taking advantage of them and their friendship. It's like sometimes let's say you have a roommate, and your roommate is like a party person, and you have a car, but you're not a party person. And every time that your roommate goes out and have fun and do whatever it is that your roommate does,
They ring you up.
they ring you up like, "Can you come pick me up?" And then once you lose, let's say you lose your car, you're becoming irrelevant to them because there's no benefit to you
Right.
because they can't get anything from you.
Transactional.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
That's where it becomes transactional.
Yeah.
It's not even about you as an individual and how you're feeling.
yeah.
Definitely agree. Sorry to cut you off.
No, no,
but,
no,
like,
no.
You were elaborating.
No. Go ahead.
Like, like just in terms, like just to add on to what you said, there's a lot of people, like when it comes to like college and just overall the aspects of it, they, like students or just people in general tend to kind of enter more transactional relationships.
Yeah.
I noticed that because, you know, a lot of times people have a hard time establishing an emotional bond because they're too scared or because of what they've heard and because of trust. A lot of people have a hard time trusting people and giving the emotional and like their verbal assurance to another person. So I can definitely resonate with that. I kind of lost my thought, but I definitely resonate.
Yeah, because I think we see that a lot on campus. Yeah, from freshman year to your senior year, you're not going to be hanging out with the same people you were hanging out from freshman year to, unless that person is a good, solid, decent person.
Right.
That's when the relationship becomes more bonded, and that goes on beyond even college.
Right.
But one thing that, if you're coming in college, that you should know is that your friends now are not going to be your friends in the future, depending on who they are as a person and depending how close you guys get.
Right.
You know, there's going to be a fallout, but I feel like if you guys have a seat and sit down and chat about it, I think everything should be fine.
I think so too. For me, sometimes like communication, like as time goes by, like sometimes communication can be a little bit misinterpreted depending on where you like you and your friends or partner is at in terms of like life. So you like in terms of communicating with them, you have to find ways on how for it to come off like, you know, where it's actually seeping through their brain and not coming off as like you being disrespectful or not, or having it not come off to them as how do I put it? Like overall where they're just misinterpreting what you
say or what you do.
Right. And in terms, I just want to touch back on you talking about like taking advantage of, especially when it comes to like the college level, like that dynamic, sometimes it does end up changing, you know, and that could be maybe like where from freshman year to now, you might see a lot of like differences in terms of dynamic, in terms of communication, and in terms of like just where both of you, like you and your friends are in life, like it can, the dynamic is very different and the communication can become very hard.
Of course. If you guys have the opposite of zodiac signs, of course, where the sign does not correlate with each other.
Yeah,
of course.
You guys might clash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so interesting though to think about it like that. Like we don't really realize sometimes, like based off of like, because for some people they may not find certain energies to be different. They may not, you know, catch on well when it comes to who they're interacting with and who they're talking to and who has their best interest at heart.
Yeah.
You know, and that can be tricky, especially when you establish relationships from the beginning of when you enter college and up until like, you know, you finish or like you're ending college, and now it's like, where do we stand as individuals? Are you still rooting for me as a friend, or are you kind of like against me in a way, or are you trying to like be in competition with me in terms of
backbite,
right, our career, even though we may be on two completely different paths, you know, because it's not really about that. We all come to college to get our own education and to get our own perspective of it.
And grow as an individual
Right.
in any way possible that we can.
Right. All right. Welcome back.
We talked about college relationships and trying to debunk some of the stigmas and all of that.
That come with college students and the atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are also just college students, to reiterate.
Yeah.
We are not here to like advise you on what to do, but also just give you a perspective on like your relationships, like that goes with platonic or family wise or romantic, like just to give you a perspective on how to go about it, or just, you know, overall what other people may be thinking or go about their relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah. On that, well, we're coming to a close now.
Yep.
Any final remarks when it comes to spirituality, zodiac signs, compatibility, all down campus?
I would say if you have a certain feeling towards this person, go off of that feeling. You know, it wouldn't hurt to interact with the person just to get that perspective. Sometimes I know some people's own perspective may sway you to not want to interact with people, but it's best to always get your own perspective of an individual before anything. Experience is key in this life, I would say.
Yeah. And although some people may be firm believers in zodiac signs and all of that, let a person's action
Speak for itself.
speak for itself. Yeah. And when it does, if you don't like the other person's action, sit the person down, talk about it. Yeah. You might want to bring in the zodiac sign thing, but also from what the person's actions have showed you as a person, you go on from that.
Yeah, and go from there. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, once again, I am your host, Sange Keita, with my other host.
Well, Samuel J. This has been a nice day for us here.
Yep.
And yeah, if you want more of this, check us out on YouTube, Swiping Love, and on Instagram, Swiping on Love.
And on Facebook, Love Swiping.
Love Swiping. So yeah, check us out on all of that platforms. If you have any questions that you want to us to discuss about and all of that,
DM us.
yeah, DM us, let us know. And we'll be gladly to have a chat about it.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Yep. Other than that, have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah. Enjoy
Happy
your break.
Friday.
Happy Friday. TGIF.